Yo, what up guys, I'm Sammy and welcome back to the Soul Drop, and this is my initial comparison between the Nike Lebron 20 and the Nike Lebron 21. So of course this is LeBron's brand new shoe and this is his old shoe. And it's kind of like his new design. You guys remember his old signature shoes? They used to be super heavy, super well cushioned, a little way too high up off the ground actually, just like way too much cushion in my personal opinion. Very heavy, very bulky, usually a high top. So starting with the LeBron 20 with his like new generation of shoes, it's been amazing. They've been low tops, they've been a lot more responsive, you know, but with still amazing cushion, right? So how does the LeBron 21 compare to the LeBron 20? Is it an upgrade? How does it feel so far? The price is exactly the same. Super freaking expensive still for $200 freaking dollars. So if you guys do want to cop either of these shoes, I try to leave the link in the description box. But let's get started right off with the Tracciones. And as you guys all know, the LeBron 20 had top tier traction, amazing traction. It has amazing bite. You know what I mean? It stops on a dime. It sticks like glue, all the good stuff. It was in the top tier traction performance of last year and also this year, right? So how does the LeBron 21 kind of feel? I haven't played in these yet. It's just on my wood floors and feels freaking amazing, guys. The bite is just as good as the LeBron 20, and whatever they did with the rubber compound here in the 21, they need to keep doing because it's freaking amazing, right? It has a really good bite, and also it's very loud and high pitched as far as the squeak goes for the LeBron 21, and it sounds like it's a little bit louder than the LeBron 20 actually. The LeBron 20 is freaking loud, the 21 is louder. So obviously that doesn't matter for performance, but I like to have a loud squeak, so I like that as well. So yeah, the LeBron 21 right now, just from my first impressions, especially comparing to LeBron 20, feels like it's gonna be top tier traction, which I'm super duper excited about. The pattern also is like not that different. If you look at the grooves though, the LeBron 21 seems like it's a little bit more rounded for the grooves. LeBron 20 feels like it's a little bit more squared off, right? But the overall like pattern, well, I mean, I guess the pattern is a little bit different, but it's just like lines, you know what I mean? And I guess we do have this kind of like spine thing going down the middle of the outsole in the 21, and then nothing here in the 20s. But yeah, the pattern is pretty similar. And if like for outdoor use, if you're gonna be playing on an outdoor court, I don't know, I feel like the 21 feels like it's a little bit softer for some reason. But neither of the shoes are probably the best option, or it's probably not a good idea to play in either of these shoes on outdoor court, especially since they're both really expensive, 200 bucks. But I feel like they would be okay. It doesn't feel like it'll be terrible, but it definitely will not be the best option for outdoor use, right? But as of right now, the 21 feels just as good as the LeBron 20, which of course is a good thing. Now moving on to the heel to toe transition, LeBron 20 was super duper soft, very smooth, right? Here in the heel we have a nice curve shape, cushion line is super soft, right? And then the LeBron 20 is a little bit stiffer, right? So it's a little bit harder to bend here in the forefoot and also here in the midfoot because this is a carbon fiber shank plate, right? Here in the 21, however, you know, it's just as smooth. We have a nice shape and all that. The heel is still soft, but it flexes a good amount more, right? Here in the forefoot and also a little bit in the midfoot, even though we do have a top-loaded shank, right? And it's just plastic, it feels like, instead of carbon fiber, which kind of sucks. So yeah, I mean, the LeBron 20 definitely feels a little bit stiffer, you know, especially just walking around. The overall sole is stiffer than the LeBron 21. I mean, the overall shape is pretty similar, so that smoothness is still there. It's just like it bends a little bit easier here in the 21. So there is a little bit of a difference there as well. Now moving on to the cushioning setup. The cushioning setup is pretty much the exact same as far as like the tech goes, besides this thing right here in the 21s, right? So it's in the tech specs, it says it's a co-molded heel guardrail, right? So I don't know if this is like a different, it's probably a different foam, right? But it does feel a little bit stiffer than the LeBron 20. The LeBron 20, especially when you first got it, was super duper soft. It felt even mushy when I first got it, right? But once I broke it in, you know, cushion line does bottom up pretty quickly. It feels really nice. It's still soft, right? So the LeBron 20 here in the heel, because of this exposed foam, is a lot softer right now than the LeBron 21. It just feels like there's a little bit more compression, right? So I mean, there's still nice compression in the 21 though. Don't get me wrong. It's just that it's not as soft, right? So that's pretty much the only difference. I mean, both of these shoes have a top-loaded Zoom Turbo unit in the forefoot, of course, and that feels very nice. It's articulated. You have a nice little bounce. You got a nice little compression right underneath your forefoot. And then in the heel, we have a bottom-loaded Zoom unit as well. Of course, the next gen was a top-loaded Zoom unit in the heel, right? But the LeBron 20, also in the 21, is a bottom-loaded Zoom unit. But that's the only difference pretty much, right? The court feel feels very, very similar as well. So if you tried the LeBron 20 and you thought it was a little too soft in the heel, the LeBron 21 is probably a little bit better of an option. And it feels a little bit better to me as well because the LeBron 20, like I said, was very, very soft. I feel like this is a very good like medium, right? It's still soft, but also it keeps that responsiveness in the heel. It's not too mushy or anything. So there's that. Moving on to the materials. So the LeBron 20, we had this kind of like textile material, which was super duper thin, very, very soft, conformed to your foot very well, and it felt very nice, right? But in the LeBron 21, they opted for a more old school option, and it's like this leather material, but it feels still really, really thin. It's a really thin material here in the toe box, but it feels a little bit more supportive as well. So that is a little bit of a difference as well. So if you want the more minimal upper, right? If you want the more minimal feeling shoe, obviously the LeBron 20 is the better option. It still has good support though, you know? So, I mean, I would say like you would feel a little bit more supported in obviously the leather option. It's just the LeBron 20 is still like adequate for support, especially for me personally. But of course, if you want the more like supportive feeling upper, then the LeBron 21 obviously is going to be the better option. And also because of the like kind of flywire cables that they're using as well, it does feel a little bit better for support, especially here in the midfoot. The LeBron 20, it's still like super duper thin here in the midfoot. Not saying it's not supportive, it's just the LeBron 21 feels a little bit more supportive, a little bit more stiff and rigid here in the midfoot. The tongue is a little bit different as well. In the 20s, we have a pretty weird feeling foam. It's like a rubbery type of foam. And then the 21, it feels very, very luxurious. We have this like very nice stitched upper. Kind of reminds me of a very expensive car, like, you know, the interior, right? And then they're both half booty construction tongues, but I feel like the 21 feels a little bit better. And then the ankle area, it's very similar, right? We have a pretty much the exact same actually lining, and also it feels like a memory foam, pretty much exactly the same, and there's some perforations there as well. So yeah, I mean, the upper, like when I'm wearing both of the shoes at the same time, they both feel very, very similar. There's just very minor differences, right? So like I said, they're both minimal, but the LeBron 20 feels a little bit more minimal, but the 21 feels a little bit more supportive, you know, a little bit more rigid in the upper, especially like right here, you know? But for the most part, it feels really similar, you know what I mean? So it's just more like subtle differences, especially in the upper. But the cushion is very, very similar as well. And then the traction, of course, they both feel very nice. So there is the upper there. Moving on to the fit, I went up half a size for both of these shoes, and they both fit me extremely, extremely well. So lengthwise, I was good going up half a size, right? They're both, like, they run a little short, I guess, right? So my toes go really close to the edge of the shoe, going up half a size. Also, here in the toe box, they're both extremely snug. However, the LeBron 21 feels a little bit more snug. And I feel like it's because this textile material did stretch out because, you know, once I broke it in, stuff like that, it stretches out a little bit more. This leather material is probably not gonna stretch out, right? So if you want a little bit more of a roomier fit, especially once you break it in, stuff like that, obviously go with the 20s. But if you want it to stay snug, then obviously go with the 21s. Also, width-wise, they're both slightly narrow, so they're both a very, very snug fit for me, going true to size, and I really like how it fits me. So for most people, if you want a really snug fit, go up half a size, right? If you want a little bit roomier of a fit, go up a full size, and if you have a very, very wide foot, probably go up a full size and a half, right? So just be careful on that, but they both fit me very well. It's a very, very similar fit for me personally in both of the shoes. And as far as the support and lockdown goes, I mean, in the LeBron 20, it was very good. For lateral containment, we can see this guardrail, right? This plastic guardrail kind of coming up, acting as a sidewall. We have the double swoosh here in the midfoot. It stiffens up the material a little bit, and we have a very, very stiff internal TPU heel counter. And same thing here in the LeBron 21. We have kind of like that same guardrail design, right? But it's not plastic, it's just the foam coming up. And then we have that embossed swoosh, right? So this is an embossed swoosh. It stiffens up the leather material a little bit here in the midfoot and the internal TPU heel counter. So lateral containment, probably gonna be very good here in the LeBron 21, just like it was in the 20s. And also, as far as the lateral stability goes, they're both like, yeah, they both have a little bit of an outrigger. They're both very, very wide. I had no issues with lateral instability in the 20s, so it's probably gonna be very good for me in the 21s. And now moving on to the weight, that's something that I'm pretty curious about. But honestly, the LeBron 20 is probably gonna be a little bit lighter, right? Yeah, so 12.95 ounces for the 20s. and the 21 is 13.3 ounces. So like 0.4 ounces, not that big of a difference. So it is a little bit lighter, but you're not really gonna feel 0.3, 0.4 ounces that easily, you know what I mean? The only difference is that the LeBron 21, like the upper feels a little bit more rigid, a little bit more thick as well, but you know, it'll probably break in very nicely, right? And the LeBron 20, like I said, feels a little bit less supportive, but also a little bit more minimal for the upper, but everything else is very, very similar, right? And now moving on to the aesthetics, LeBron 20, I feel like the LeBron 20 looks a little bit better than the 21, right? What do you guys think? I feel like most people would agree, right? The LeBron 20 looks a little bit better. So tell us what you guys think looks better down in the comment section below. So wrapping things up, yes, so the LeBron 21 feels extremely similar to the LeBron 20, which of course is a good thing. I feel like, is it an upgrade or not? I feel like it depends on the person, you know what I mean? So for me, the traction, I mean, they're both amazing. Cushion, very, very similar. It's just the heel is a little bit stiffer in the 21. The upper obviously is the biggest change, but like I said before, like I keep mentioning, it's just the LeBron 20 is a little bit thinner, a little bit more minimal feeling. And honestly, it'll probably have better ventilation. There's good airflow through this material. I mean, with this, you're not gonna have any airflow, you know? But other than that, I mean, I like the weight's pretty similar, and the overall build of the shoe feels very similar as well while I was walking around both of the shoes at the same time. So it's a very similar shoe to the LeBron 20, and if you do want to check out the LeBron 21, it's gonna have a very similar feel. So anyways, that about concludes this initial detailed comparison between the LeBron 20 and the LeBron 21. Again, if you guys do want to cop either of these shoes, I try to leave the link in the description box, but that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.